The government's decision to establish a special inquiry into the sexual abuse at the Katanning Hostel is a double-edged sword for those still living with the legacy decades later. It will be headed by a former Supreme Court Justice and have extraordinary powers similar to those of a Royal Commission. For the victims, it's brought back painful memories, but finally relief, and with it, a hope that the extent of the abuse will now be revealed. Here's Jake Sterner.
As the Premier announced an inquiry into sexual abuse at the hostel in Katanning, Kim Daniels was in Perth, getting ready for one of the toughest experiences of his life.
Nervous, like very nervous. This is when it gets, what's the word? Serious. What we're about to do now is very serious.
It's something he's been thinking about for more than 30 years, ever since he says he was abused at the St Andrew's Hostel by Dennis John McKenna. McKenna was warden of the hostel between 1975 and 1990 and a former Citizen of the Year. Now Kim Daniels is finally getting to tell his story to the police.
Do you feel some relief in being able to go and finally do this?
Yeah, I did. I have a great relief when I first went to the lawyers and did a statement there. That was like a ton of weight off me. I've just got to get the rest off now, and hopefully today, and when I see my my doctor, I'll be able to remove the rest.
Kim Daniels is the latest in a string of victims who've now come forward. People like Mike Hilder, and for him to find out there'll be a special inquiry, it's a bittersweet moment.
Relieved, I suppose, in a way that there's going to be the proper inquiries done now, and to find out exactly what was going on, because there are, well, we know of people that were covering this up all the way through and we haven't been able to do anything about it.
730 WA first told the stories of Mike Hilder and 3 other victims earlier this year. Each made the painful journey back to the scene of where it all happened.
That was Dennis there, this bloke here. He was the head of the hostel board, and that was me receiving an award. And then after that I had to get dressed up as Olivia Newton-John and sing Physical to 200 people.
Was that a common sort of thing?
Yeah. Always getting dressed up as girls.
Did you find that strange?
Oh, we had to do it.
What happened if you didn't?
Don't know. Wouldn't like to know the consequences. Yeah.
What years were you in?
89, 90.
Mike Hilder and the others went public in the hope more victims would come forward.
Yeah, I wonder where it was, please.
You go to Perth, do whatever business it was, and you'd pull up your accommodation, you get there and there'd be 2 single beds and a queen bed for 4 of you. So there was always some poor bastard who had to share with him, you know.
McKenna was jailed for child sex offences in 1991. Todd Jeffferis and Mick Hilder were part of that initial case. Since then, more victims have come forward and shared their stories, and McKenna is back behind bars, sentenced last month to 6 years jail with a minimum of 4 years. His victims say that's a pittance compared to the damage he caused them.
All those showers were open and he used to come in here and talk to you. And
now it's the victims who are doing the talking. Kim Daniels and Mike Hilder haven't seen each other for 30 years, but they've got one thing in common.
You and me and all the rest of them, we're the brave ones.
Today, the man heading the inquiry spoke publicly about the job ahead.
How difficult is this going to be, given it happened at least 20 years ago?
Well, there's always a problem with human memory over the passage of time, so I expect there to be many conflicts in the evidence. People disagree about particular facts, and that's my job to determine who is correct.
And it won't be easy. There are already many differing stories, such as claims a Katanning Shire councillor was told of the abuse years before McKenna was charged and convicted.
Do you feel any responsibility knowing what happened?
No, I don't think I do, because now I know. If it happened at the time, no, I don't know that I do have any responsibility. I didn't know. I don't have responsibility for other things that happen I know nothing about, and I knew nothing about that. I was there to give my bit.
There are also claims that the principal of the local high school at the time Dennis McKenna was charged was told of the abuse.
Todd Jeffferis, a student at the school, says he came to you with allegations. What did you do?
Todd came to me with allegations that not about sexual behaviour. If I remember, Todd came to me with allegations that he was being picked on and discriminated against. And so I went to the board of the hostel and just mentioned to them that he had made these allegations. I also told Todd that if he had any further allegations, they must be taken to the police, because I was not a person who could deal with any allegations of harassment at the hostel.
A preliminary hearing will be held in the next few weeks, and after that, Justice Blaxell will begin the full inquiry, finishing around May. And while that's going on, so too is the fight for compensation.
Oh, I definitely think the inquiry will help the compensation process, because I think a great understanding of the suffering that these people went through will be arrived at.
For Kim Daniels, he's got a lot more on his mind than money. After 30 years of living with his secret, last Saturday he finally summoned the courage to tell his parents about the abuse he suffered.
They blamed themselves for sending me there. But, say, they didn't know. They didn't know.